Alright YouTube, what is going on? My name is Bigfoot. Thank you very much for checking out this video. Sim Airport returns, and it's been a while, that is for sure. Been a bit too long, but just with the scheduling and the lack of internet I've had, it's been difficult to rotate around all the games, but now we're on to daily uploads again. It makes life much easier, which is good. So just to bring you up to speed on really what we did in the previous 10 episodes, because it has been a gap. We've gone ahead and built a pretty basic airport to start off with. So we've got 4 normal gates in operation here. We've then got basically just the main terminal area. It has some retail outlets, it just has some toilets, and then upstairs as well you have got a flight crew lounge, you got a first class lounge, and you've got 1 restaurant, and there's also the offices up here as well. And then before security you have got a sophisticated baggage system which we finally put into play. On the downfall though, I feel that it's not really going to get utilised properly anyway until we go ahead and really just get more gates in use, but we're going to get there, we are going to get there, and the good thing is the infrastructure is already there for that, which is great, so it makes our life easier for later on, though it was a struggle. Going back to about episode 8 when we built this system, it was very difficult. On top of that, as we go forward, we're going to need to expand other things anyway, so it's not that a big problem. And then that is pretty much where we are at right now, to be honest. We are going to need to start to go ahead and think about purchasing new land areas. That's something which we are going to need to do, just because I feel we might need a second runway soon, so I think it might be a good idea. Anyway, so with regards to bank balance, right, I am very negative in the flow right now. However, I can actually still buy stuff, which is interesting, so I'm going to slowly let the game run, but what I want to do is we've gone ahead, and hence why I'm in so much debt, I built this expansion here because I want to get more planes into this airport as soon as possible, because we can support that no problem right now, and I really just want to go ahead and start to, realistically right now, if we look at this here, so I believe yesterday I didn't buy anything, so it's quite accurate. Basically yesterday we made net profit of 74,000, so I think that's pretty much our standard sort of thing so far. We have got days where we are gaining a bit less and a bit more. I guess it really depends on my spends, but that's really where we're at. But if I can get these extra gates into operation, I don't need to expand security, I don't need to expand baggage or anything like that. Might be a wee bit runway crowding, but we can work around that. But this really means that I don't really have to do anything else except get these gates into action, and that should lead to changing that 74,000 net profit a day to something hopefully about double that, if not more. Just because we got these large gates, we can take in larger flights, which would be super useful as well. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to really just get building on this area, and we'll come back and detail everything at another time. Again, the aim for this episode is to get more of this operational. So what we're first of all going to do is we're going to clear that out there. I am actually going to pre-lay foundations for, I think we might, oh, I can't build out there. I was thinking about having another gate over here, but I'm not at all sure if that's going to work actually. What we'll do is we'll build there anyway. If I go ahead and see if we can fit in a gate, so if we want a small gate, we can actually get a small gate in here, which I think could be a good idea. So, I mean, at least that option's left open. I'll not build that gate right now, but at least that option is there. Again, it really depends on crowding issues and all that sort of stuff as we go forwards. First thing we're going to do, mandatory, we're going to go ahead and put the carpet down, because that's what I love. Again, it's really weird. I'm in all this debt, but at the same time, I can still buy stuff. So, I don't want it to make it like Sandbox though, so once we do this, I will let the game generate, and I will go ahead and bring it back to like the proper profit and loss system, because that does it takes away from the career progression sort of system we have going on here. So with that done, it's really just about honestly getting the gates into operation, and for that you really don't need a lot. So what we're going to start off with is doors. That is going to help. It's been a while again since I've played this game, so I'm a little bit slow I feel as well. It's just every game has slightly different like interfaces, for example, so it's something which I need to just slowly adapt to again. Let's go ahead and I'm going to need to put a wee extension on here just so I can actually get access to gate B2. These will be numbered B1 and B2 just because all the A stands, these are small stands. So I do my lettering by, or right now anyway, we're doing our lettering by the size of the stand. In the future, I might go ahead, it depends how long the series goes on for, honestly. I don't know if we're going to do multiple terminals maybe, or we're going to do multiple fingers, concourses, if you know what I mean. So we'll just have to wait and see. Right, so that's the store here into place, which is good. What we can do now is we can go ahead and get ourselves some desks in. That would be super useful. So set the desk there and there. And then with these gates here, I sort of run a similar system as well. The doors are just slightly wider. However, it's basically all the same concept, and we'll need to wait on that there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rush to get B1 into action first, because the B gates are going to make us the more money. And then we can always come back to gate A5. The other issue with adding in a small gate on this corner over here is that it might just be a bit too crowded, and I really don't want that at all. But at the same time, again, it really just depends on the demands, and we can really go from there. Now, the downside about these large gates is they require access from downstairs and upstairs, which is quite a big issue. So I need to go ahead and also start working on more foundations as well. Hence now it's not all of a sudden a 2-second job, you know. It's actually going to take us quite a while, which is frustrating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just build something like this right now. So we'll have the large corridor, and then we'll have like extended waiting area. We need to make sure we can go ahead and get the queues in here as well, to be fair actually. So what we'll do is we will expand this way a little bit as well, just so I can get a queue winding up there, which is a good idea. While that goes on, we can go ahead now and start to really just plan this whole thing out. I'm just going to bring this wall right down, honestly. It's one of these things I always in my brain, are taking things very seriously. So I'm like, oh, this area is closed off to the general public while work's going on. Edinburgh Airport right now, for example, has got like a good few gates screened off right now while they're under construction. They don't just have that invisible sight, which is totally understandable. Plus it is health and safety, which makes sense. The problem with that expansion we just built though is that we're down to, we're just losing money, you know, which is frustrating. And that's really, I mean, this massive expansion here, which we're just starting today, cost like maybe 400,000. It was a lot. We were still in debt going back to episode 10. We were still in debt by quite a bit, but overall we are now in extreme debt. But it's all good and fun part of the game. Plus it doesn't really have much consequence right now, which is fine. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's a glitch, or I don't know if I've selected a setting, because this is definitely career mode. This is not sandbox. I'm pretty sure anyway. Definitely, because I would have at the very start of episode 1, I would have selected just career mode instead of sandbox mode. Anyway, moving on. Right, so what we need to do now is we need to, I guess we can just start issuing queues. What I think I might do, because this is going to take a long time to go ahead and get the upstairs sorted, I think we're going to get gate A5 into operation sooner actually, just because if I build the queues now, then I can get it up and running straight away pretty much, which is what I really need, to be honest. So let's go ahead and grab ourselves some queues, and let's go ahead and get started with the lovely queuing. Now, queuing, of course, is not my favourite pastime, and it's something I've not done in a while, but hopefully I've still got it. That's perfect like that, and then if we come up here, again, I don't really know what's going to go in there, if anything, but I'll at least leave the required space if we do decide to use this, or it could simply become restrooms, or like maybe there's not enough room for a cafe here, but it could definitely become something, you know, so I do want to leave it open and free. Right, so with that done then, let's go ahead and pretty much connect all of this up. So let's assign this to these 2 desks. Perfect, and let's assign these desks to these queues. And then likewise with this desk as well. There we go, perfect. Right, okay, so we've now also got some gate agents as well as staff at our desks, which is wonderful. Again, we're not going to be flying for a wee bit yet though, just because I need to wait for this wall to come down. while we do that as well, actually, we can start to think about more floating guided walkways, because what do I love? It's crazy the amount of comments I get on it now, but it's just so true, you know, so... Right, we can also start to do that a bit there. The builders are taking a long time because they're working on the upstairs element right now, hence they're on ladders. And we're quite a while away from getting this into action, actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase priority on this project and on the floor seed as well. Just because the other thing, it doesn't really matter how long upstairs takes, because we've still got to do downstairs anyway. So it's all going to take a bit of time. My next worry is the timetable we've got here. So the timetable is fine, but it's just a bit congested. And right now, we can't really afford any delays. For example, if there's a bit of wind and planes can't land for half an hour, it really throws the whole day off. So, especially if we're going to be able, and I'm not saying we necessarily are going to be able to fill up a 5th gate, just because I don't know how many small flights are actually in with this roster here. But if we can fill it up, then I do think it could cause some issues, even with the timing that we've gone ahead and done, and there's some gaps in the schedule as well, but again, it's not easy. Okay, right, we do have actually quite a lot of small planes here, but then again, I also don't want 19-seater aircraft. Very much I'm going for a price sort of policy where I want more passengers. Using the runway is dirt cheap. I've got it down at like $300. If we go into, yeah, here exactly, so that's super cheap. But then the terminal usage income per passenger, that's higher for me. So I really do want planes that have a lot of passengers in general. So what I'll do is I'll actually just jump down the list, to be honest. We've got small here, Dash HQ400 aircraft, which are actually flying quite a bit. 50 is good, so I'll take that flight. Then we've got Pacific Airlines. You have got lots of beaches available, which kind of want to avoid, to be honest. I think we're going to go with no there. Then Union Air, you've got, again, beaches. I mean, it might just be we just use beaches, to be honest. That might just have to do. We've got an E1. Okay, you're 90 passengers, so that is perfect. The E195. Anything else you have? That's just beach. Aerostar. You've got Boeing aircraft, which is quite good. So quite a variety, but we only really are interested in the 737 right now because it's the only small one, so let's take you. Then what about Atlantic International? Again, quite a variety here, all small and all really ideal. My only worry is I don't think I can take all these evening flights just because I don't think we have enough room in the evenings, to be honest. I mean, we do have some spare gaps, but I've already taken a flight anyway. Right, what we're going to do is we'll take 2 of these, and then that should give us enough to fill out the schedule. So what I want to do is I want to put an Atlantic flight in there. To be fair, we can actually get 2 in here quite easily, to be honest. So let's get the 2 Atlantic International flights in there, which is fine. And then that gives us still Gate 5 totally free. So we actually should be able to take most of those other ones. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and stick you, and you will depart bang on 6 o'clock, which is fine. Again, that is enough time, I think. Yeah, it should be fine. You've got, I mean, everything only really needs an hour and a half, and if they do go over, I've got some gaps. It's not like a totally jam-packed schedule as of yet. Then the afternoon, oh, that's the morning, so the morning we'll just get you going, I don't know, maybe around 8 AM or something. Again, it's sort of like in blocks, but the blocks are sort of no longer. I sort of had like flights leaving between about 6 and 7 before, or maybe 6 and about 7:30, and then no flights again leaving till about 9. I was doing it in blocks, and as you can sort of vaguely make out where the blocks are, you know, but now it's sort of just a bit more of a free-for-all now. It's got to that stage, which I might want to go ahead and sort out at some point. Then we get the Aerostar and the Starflight in the afternoon, which is fine. We'll just have to stick you at a similar time to another flight. That should be fine. And then that gives us time to probably get at least another 2 planes in the evening, actually. So Atlantic International, we'll take these 2 as well. Let's go ahead and stick you in there like so, and then finally this other flight will be the last flight of the night, and we'll just stick you there and you can run till whenever, which is good. Right, okay, that works out. We can probably take another flight in the morning, that is for sure. But again, I don't think we have too many offers right now, so again, we just need to go ahead and improve stuff. Tell you what, we will actually take a beach just as a one-off as well. So this beach can arrive at, we'll do 6 AM just because it's only 19 passengers, so shouldn't cause too many issues, and we'll push that back a tiny bit as well there, which is perfect. Right, okay, so with that done, then this gate is into action, which is good. So as of tomorrow, we should be earning even more money, which is exciting. I don't think the beach will land, but it'll start tomorrow if it doesn't start today. Again, I don't know if I did it before midnight or not. I don't know what flights I did before midnight and not, so we'll just have to wait and see. Right, okay, so let's get some of this carpet jobs continued. So let me go ahead and clear that piece of wall as well. How are we doing upstairs? Doing very well, in fact, which is good to see. So what I can also do now is clear that wall there, clear that wall there, and then clear that wall there, which is good. And then we can go ahead and worry about the carpets again in a minute. So we are going to need more elevators actually, because we do have some up and down elevators here, but we're going to need some over this end as well at some point. So I will have a think about that. I'll probably be in the middle again, but just along here realistically, in this gap here sort of thing as we go forward. Anyway, let's try and get this gate into action again, as I said, as soon as possible. So these queues are going to have to be much longer, just based on the fact that we are dealing with a large gate, not a small gate. Arguably though, we can go ahead and just work off the demand, to be honest. What I think I need to do is I probably need it to go back again. Again, we'll just have to work off the demand and see what the demand's like. And then at this side, again, we'll have a short queue. It'll be a bit longer, this one for example. But again, nice and short, which works out nicely. And we'll just weave this back along here. And perfect, voila. Right, so that's good to go as well now, downstairs at least before we do upstairs. So let's assign the gates to those desks, and then the desks to these queues. 1 and 1 magic. And then we have 1 and 1 like that. Perfecto. This is always something which has just really bugged me. I'm not really at all sure why, but it's, again, it's to do with carpets. It's just these small bits. When I leave carpets undone, it's like something I must fix there and then, or it's just going to bug me. With that done though, we can actually now go ahead and also add in more of the guided walkways, which is good. Right, so 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. Right, perfect. Okay, so that runs right round now, which is good. So we can really now start to get a feel of the rest of the airport as well, which is good. That'll run along there, and then run along there. We do not need, we need to cancel this though, because I did it slightly wrong. Let's go ahead and run you down like that, just make you too wide, which is good. Let's go ahead and cancel this and sort that corner right there. Right, beautiful. Okay, so if we go ahead and also start to now work on gate B2 as well. Let's go back upstairs and let's get a door in here. I guess we'll leave B2 for now because that's going to require quite a bit of infrastructure. Let's go ahead and add desks for the time being. So if we rotate these around, that is not quite right. I built those slightly in the wrong place. But at least the door's on now, which is good. So let's do that, and let's do that, which is good. Now, queues. I mean, again, queues are quite easy to do here, but it's just the difficulty of the space here, you know? I don't know if I need to do any more building or whatnot. I think we should be okay. I'll need to get seats along here as well, so this is something we will do quite quickly. But let's get that back to there, and let's stop that queue about there, which is good. Right now, this queue over this side is going to be pathetic. But again, this is just temporary for the time being. What we'll do is we'll re-alter this at another time, to be honest. So that works out like that, which is great. And then again, we can go ahead and assign to 1, 2, and then very quickly, if we zoom in, assign you to you, and then you to this queue, and the other queue. Perfect. Right, so what we can now do is actually allow passengers along here. I'm quite happy for that. What I'm also going to do is we're going to fill in that corner there. I also want to, while I'm up here actually, we might as well go ahead and clear this as well. When I see stuff like this, again, it just bugs me. It's sort of a thing that has to be dealt with. Let's go ahead now and get in some more carpets, which is good. That'll run along to, realistically, here. I'm just trying to think of this for the future. That'll run down to, what, there, and that will run to there. Right, perfect. Again, the upstairs is going to be totally different from the downstairs, though, so I think we're about to add restaurants in here, for example. Again, I don't know what it's going to be like at the bottom here, but we sort of can plan that right now. So let me go ahead and have a think here. Realistically, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and add in some more gates. So let's type in gates. Now, it's realistically, it can't go there because there's not enough room. So realistically, gates are going to have to be down here. So we are going to get a lot more room in the terminal, which is good. So what I can do is I'm going to go ahead and place a gate there just temporarily. Right now, it's not going to be connected up, but I sort of know the area that I've got to work with. So this finger, concourse, whatever you want to call it, has now got a lot larger, which is great to see. Okay, so that means gate 1B, if I'm right in saying, even though there's not carpets in, it is in operation, which is really exciting. So let's go ahead and finish off these carpets while I'm at it. But this means as of, what, day 82, we can actually start to get big planes in here as well. This is where, realistically though, we're going to start to see issues to do with the runway, because the larger planes also require longer gate time as well, which is very important. So we need to make sure that that happens, and I think they might also take longer to take off. Don't quote me on that, but I've got a feeling it does. But again, we will see when we actually get a plane arriving and departing. So let's go back into scheduling now. Let's go ahead and jump in here and let's see what we've got. So I'm actually disappointed in the general interest right now, to be honest. There's really not a lot at the airport, which kind of disappoints me, but we can again go ahead and improve on that. I mean, I feel airline satisfaction or interest, arguably we're in the middle of the night right now, so this is the worst time to check this stat, because these stats always drop down just because there is a lower amount of passengers and a lower amount of air interest. But 62 that's the lowest it's been in a while. To be fair, there's a lot going on in the airport right now, so we definitely need to work on that. And also passenger satisfaction. It's just the environment side of things we really need to do. Hunger and boredom as well, we can definitely work on those. Very, very achievable goals we can go ahead and sort out. Right, let's get back to this now. Let's get some large planes in, pretty much. So, who wants us? Not many airlines at all, to be honest. There's only one airline offering flights right now, and they're all small. That's a joke. Absolute joke. No large right now at all. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Right, that's not good at all then, is it? I can't really fly. This is a big problem. So I built this gate, but I can't actually make use of it, which is frustrating. Very frustrating. It's nice to see, though, gate A5 being used. I am curious if this has had any effect on the profit or loss. It's difficult, a bit more difficult to measure again, just because I am not... well, I'm building right now. If we go back to day 78... no, let's go back to day 76. Yeah, so I didn't do any building, I don't think, here. Hardly any building. We made 65,000 that day. The income was about 206,000 in total. That's the figure I need. So we're up to 290,000 with those changes. Obviously filling out that gate, but then also going ahead and just filling gaps in the schedule as well. We have added a good, maybe, under 10 flights per day. Can't remember, it must be about 8, 9 maybe. We've added in, which is beautiful. This is really, really frustrating. We need to actually get this airline interest up, because I really actually want to get use out of this gate pronto. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and Again, I feel these aren't really getting used right now, and I really don't know why. Kiosk scheduling? Anything to do with that? Nah. Again, it seems weird because you're just not making anything. I'm pretty sure I lowered the... Yeah, pizza price is $2.50 and it just doesn't get used. What about food vending machines? Do these get used? They also don't get used either, which is really strange. Right, I don't know if there's a glitch right now or if I'm doing something wrong, because this is... One, it's affecting the airport badly, so it's something I can't really go ahead and ignore. And two, I mean, this stuff should definitely be getting used. The one thing I do see people playing is arcade stuff. So, that's weird. The ATMs as well. I mean, is there not enough ATMs in the airport, maybe? Because I could see why that would be an issue. But then at the same time, there's not a queue by the ATM, so... Right, I'm going to go ahead and investigate this very, very quickly. So after quickly looking online, I have found out that it is an ongoing issue in the game, and they're thinking about actually just re-overhauling the food system, which is quite interesting, but right now they don't have time to fix it, or they're not going to fix it right now because they've been working on some performance updates, which supposedly is on a beta branch, so probably should check that out, unless it's out, but I'm not really noticing too much right now. In saying that, I am playing on ×3 speed and there's a fair amount of people and I'm not lagging, which is rare. Because I remember when this game first came out, it was so unplayable. Like, once you got to this stage, it was down to like 3-4 frames per second. And not that I'm getting like 60 smooth frames or anything, but I must be getting a good 20, which is, I mean, that's fine for this sort of game. It's not an FPS game, you don't need 60, you know? Or whatever you like. Anyway... With that, then, I can't really do too much with food, which is kind of frustrating. Cafe does seem to be doing work. Cafes seem to be the things that work, which is kind of problematic, as you can tell here. So, I'm just going to have to leave it for the time being. On the plus, though, we do have a lot of airline interest, or increased airline interest, which is good. But I want large planes. And again, I'm not getting any large planes. We're up to 66%, yes, but... None of these are large planes right now, which is frustrating. I've not done anything since that, so it's really strange why that's gone back up. Airline interest is based on price sensitivity, passenger satisfaction, airport facilities, and more. Okay, that's good to know. So what we're going to do is we're probably going to decrease our prices. That's the best thing for me to do. So again, runway, I'm just going to drop that down to $100. What we'll do is we'll cut $5 off the terminal usage price as well. So that's increased it by a percentage, which is good, but is it good enough? Not right now, unfortunately, and I can't re-edit the prices again, I don't think, for a while, which is annoying. I've got to wait 12 more hours, which sucks. Anyway, it just means that we're going to have to go ahead and ride things out for the time being. We've still got lots of work to go ahead and do, and that's pretty much just what we are going to do. So in general, I'm seeing that we are moving people fine. There's not really too much of a bottleneck here. Security is actually doing surprisingly well as well, which I'm kind of shocked at, to be honest, because previously, I mean, it is usually the area where airports I built have struggled. But in general, it's doing very, very well. So is the ticketing area right now, to be honest, and the baggage system, it's all doing well. Even with the amount of people that are arriving, I think I could maybe do with some more ticketing kiosks. That's something which we can quite easily sort out. But outside of that, it's looking really good. The infrastructure is holding out, which I was hopeful for, but I was also a bit hesitant about as well, I guess you could say. Okay, what we're going to do is we're just going to make another kiosk island over here for the time being. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start to just build some small quality of life changes for the end of the episodes. It's really weird with these ticketing kiosks because they're only used when like a bus comes along and everyone wants to use one at once, and then they're not used again for another like hour. It's really, really strange. It's that concept of you want them like there and then, but then they're useless after like a minute, you know? They're sort of redundant, sort of a bit of a waste, but that's just how it is. Again, I don't really think this game has anything like... When I go to the airport, I never print stuff off. I'm very anti-paper, you know. If there's no need for paper, then I'm not going to use paper. Whereas very much, I don't think this game's got to that level yet. I mean, it's obviously got some bigger issues to deal with right now, so we'll let that be. What I do want to do, though, is I want to try one or two things here. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a large bar. This is just going to be temporary, because it's not going to stay here permanently, but I'm just going to stick this over here in this corner. And the reason I'm doing that is because when I was reading in the forums about all these places just not working really, to be honest, a lot of people were saying that they feel if it's under, like, a cafe or above a cafe. Now, that stuff isn't directly under or above, but I'm wondering now if I go ahead and build this newly right now, it's going to make a difference. I don't know, just because I placed this new, it just might do something different, you know? Right, so with that done, let's go ahead and... I really don't know what I want to do, to be honest. I think we maybe want to start a new restaurant. I think that would be a good idea, and this is where the restaurant is going to go. Because I need to take pressure off this restaurant over here. Again, I don't know how large I want the kitchen to be. Realistically, if we go ahead and grab a wall, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I don't think I want the biggest kitchen as that. I probably want a kitchen as big as 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Tell you what, I think I would like to do it in this space here, actually. Because, again, I still don't know what's going to go down here. So let's go ahead and get that built. So we're going to have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wide, and then the wall. So that's going to be that build there, and then that's going to be the restaurant. So that fits in that gap really nicely, and then again, we won't actually need the upstairs bit. Because we're not going to put a large gate in that corner there, there's not enough room for that. And then if we do put a small gate in, then we do not need an upstairs connection for a small gate. So we can actually probably put in a bathroom up here, which should probably be my best bet. Arguably though, that's not going to work, because that's where I want to go ahead and put the elevators, do I not? Or, yeah, I do, realistically. I need to think here. I'll work this out in between this and the next episode, to be honest with you. But what I'm going to actually do is I'm just going to wrap this episode up here, because I think we're at a concluding point. I've got 2 more gates pretty much in use now, or ready to go. At least one is being used and one isn't. I am going to go ahead and work towards this a bit as well. We really need to go ahead and just break the deadlock and get some large planes in here. It's really frustrating because, like, previously we did have large plane offers. See, this is large plane offers here. So why when I filter by L am I not getting these? Because these are large planes. We've got Boeing 707s and, yeah, exactly, these are large planes. So why wasn't I getting this before? Oh, it's to do with runway length. Oh. Right, that issue will also be resolved in between this and the next episode as well. I'll go ahead and sort that out, and that will be my top priority. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, hope you have enjoyed. Please leave a like rating, it really helps the video and the channel out, and subscribe if you're not. It's amazing that about 50% of the viewers that watch these videos are not subscribed, so I really highly recommend you do so. And then on top of that, go ahead and check out my Twitter and Patreon in the links below. And that's all, ladies and gentlemen, so thank you very much for watching. My name is Bigfoot, and I'm out.